And it's lights out and away we go, and it's a decent reaction from George Russell and also from Carlos Sainz, who covers over his teammate Charles Leclerc. Now that could give Lando Norris a bit of a movement as he tries to get down the inside. Russell ahead, going around the outside, Charles Leclerc. Russell's got the inside line, defends and cuts off Carlos Sainz as Lewis Hamilton goes wide and then comes back onto the track behind Lando Norris in fourth. Decent start from Max Verstappen as well, who's making a move past Fernando Alonso and almost ahead of Esteban Ocon.
You can see immediately the Ferraris have fired their tyres up. They've got grip, they've got confidence. Russell really struggling to get the car to turn in and stay on the racing line.
But that was a very key move, defending into turn one, and Russell preserves that lead, and someone's gone off the track in the first sector towards the back. We've seen Lewis Hamilton ahead of both Alpines, and he's putting pressure on Lando Norris as Fernando Alonso puts pressure on his teammate Esteban Ocon. Verstappen there ahead of Perez. Coming from behind Perez is Kevin Magnussen. Good start from him. Down at the inside goes Max Verstappen on Esteban Ocon. We've seen these two tangle in the past. That was a lovely clean move. Under braking from Max Verstappen. Damage to other cars, but damage limitation for Verstappen here. And that was fabulous. But there's Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon. We've seen one Red Bull pass an Alpine, and there's another Red Bull going past the Alpine. Perez puts himself up into 8th. Hamilton takes a slightly wider line through that final corner, but look how they can run so much more closely for so much longer during the course of this year. But Hamilton wants to be ahead of Lando Norris, and he gets the move done into that first turn. Lovely move there. Norris is going to be under pressure now from Verstappen, heading down into turn 2. Hamilton is pulling away. Verstappen's got ahead of Lando Norris, who didn't have the DRS. The two behind him did. An extra 16 kilometers an hour really helped and made all the difference. As Charles Leclerc stops. Leclerc inherited the lead of this race when George Russell made his stop. No one's really interested at Red Bull. Well, Adrian Newey and Christian Horner aren't in that Ferrari pit stop. 2.9 seconds. Russell comes now down towards turn 1 and ahead of Charles Leclerc. But here's crucial for Ferrari. Leclerc, by carrying on for a few more laps, is ahead of his teammate Carlos Sainz. We're only on lap 30 of this race so far. Make that lap 31 now as we start a new lap, and Leclerc is about 1/10 of a second closer to George Russell, going into the DRS zone, and down he goes around the outside. Charles Leclerc. George Russell will try and fight that back, but with an extra helping of DRS, Charles Leclerc's got it covered. That was a brilliant move there from Charles Leclerc. Down at Red Bull for Max Verstappen to pit. He did come in on lap 16, so his second and what should be final pit stop on lap 39.
Yeah, it is the Monegasque who pits, and it is the hard tyre that he goes onto. Wow, that's brave based on how it's been going with everybody else. And George Russell pits as well onto the medium.
There's Perez, there's Verstappen, who is now ahead
of George Russell. Charles Leclerc is on tyres at the moment that actually might not suit him very well. Verstappen's closing in on Charles Leclerc to make the overtake on the track. George Russell is now down in 6th place. This is looking very nice for Charles Leclerc as they go wheel to wheel, for Max Verstappen I should say. They go wheel to wheel. Verstappen goes a bit deep, but he makes that overtake stick. So here's Verstappen. It's got a bit tasty down the main straight, didn't it? Under braking, they were pretty level. I thought he got a little bit too deep, Max Verstappen, but kept the car under control. Max Verstappen is the fastest man on this track, and he's currently running... Oh no, he's had a little spin. I was going to say, he's the fastest man on the track, and he's currently running ahead of Charles Leclerc, but he's had a moment there coming out of the penultimate corner. He stayed ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez. Perez has now got Russell right on his tail, but that's Russell getting past Sergio Perez, but not past Max Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc is ahead of this battle.
He's a little bit wide. Oh, that's got to be water on the track or something, and that was just a lazy little loop.
I went on throttle and I just ran like inside Wilson.
DRS wide open for Max Verstappen once again. He is closer than he was on the previous lap to Charles Leclerc. Leclerc dives down the inside to cover off the Red Bull. In doing so, Max Verstappen now has a nice gap opening on the inside coming out of turn 1, and Verstappen is back ahead of Charles Leclerc. Russell is so much closer this time around, coming off the final corner. He's gone wheel to wheel, he's gone ahead, but Leclerc is down the inside. And for one moment it looked an awful lot more close than George Russell would have wanted as they went through that right-hander, but Russell is ahead now of Charles Leclerc.
All the stories are being written for tomorrow about Ferrari's strategy again. Look at that, he's fallen behind Hamilton and Perez. These are the critical corners for Hamilton. We know if he comes up behind George Russell, he'll be obliged to move over quickly for him. You can't help but feel out front Verstappen's got enough speed and enough tyre.
Nearly got Carlos Sainz coming out of that final turn. He's going to get, I think, the Ferrari halfway down the straight here. Lewis Hamilton up into the podium places in this race once again. Down the straight we go once again. Hamilton closes in on Russell once again. Russell goes down the inside. Hamilton's going to have to go the long way round if he makes the move there, but it's the old switcheroo, isn't it? Russell goes a bit deeper. Hamilton gets him on the exit of turn 1.
What a great victory for Max Verstappen and Red Bull.
Led the 50th race of his career today, takes the 28th victory of his career. Max Verstappen from 10th on the grid comes home to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. And behind him, from 7th on the grid, Lewis Hamilton takes 2nd place. Behind him, the man who started on pole, George Russell, for yet another podium, the 1, 2, 3, as it was at Paul Ricard last week. Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell. It's time to head to a summer break, put our feet up, recharge batteries and come back ready for action at Spa. Ferrari were hoping to make inroads into Red Bull's advantage today. It didn't happen. They rather checked out. Red Bull maxed out. Verstappen taking victory in Hungary.